What's up, everybody? This is another travel vlog episode of the No Money Real Estate Podcast. I'm in Calgary, Alberta right now. It's Sunday morning, and I'm just starting a little bit of an adventure. I'm literally flying from Calgary to Vancouver, Vancouver to Seoul, Korea, and Seoul, Korea to Dalian, China. And I'm heading over there to have some really incredible conversations with one of the largest modular home builders in China about importing these modular homes to Canada. And I'm going to walk you through this. I'm going to take you with me. I'm going to show you the factory. I'm going to show you the homes they build. I'm going to show you why I'm exploring this idea, because I really want to help with the housing crisis, and you can't beat the pricing. It's unbelievable. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Let's go on this journey together. We'll be back right after this. Well, that's where we're going next. We are on board our flight to Seoul, Korea. So I'm off to Dalian, China today. And what takes me there is meetings that I have scheduled with one of the largest modular home builders in China. I'm really excited about this trip for a number of reasons. Most importantly, it's been proven over and over again that China just has lower operating cost environments. The standard of living is great in China, but things cost less and people can live on less money, which gets passed on to production. And recently I found out we actually bought a couple 3-bedroom bungalows from this company for use at our Likely Gold Mine project. And while I was in conversations with them, I got to know about this company and what they actually did. I also found out that the owner of the company spent a decade in Canada, in Montreal, and really understands Canada. What got me the most excited is during my initial conversations with these people, I found out that this owner was already in a major deal with the city of Vancouver in Canada, and they were doing affordable housing. And that really caught my attention. And so I started really thinking about this, and I did some investigations into what was happening in Vancouver, and it made a lot of sense to me. So I'm on my way over there right now, and I want to go and see the actual quality of their construction materials and the process. And if the quality fits the bill, I'm going to propose that we become a distributor for this company in Canada. And we're going to start with a major affordable housing project in Whitby, Ontario. Essentially what we're going to do, we can buy these houses fully constructed and imported to Canada for about $70 a square foot. Now, for those that don't understand what that means, if you build a house in Ontario where I live, it's normally $400 a square foot. That means I can buy these houses basically 75% less than what it would cost me to build it myself. So why not do this and pass that savings on to the buyer, the people that are buying the houses? We hear people saying all the time that houses cost too much money and houses aren't affordable. Let me give you an example. So they have a house that is a 1,400 square foot 3-bedroom bungalow with a single car garage with a kitchen, a dining room, a family room, 2.5 bathrooms in this house. And that house getting into Canada will be about $100,000. Now, I'm going to have to hire a team to build it, which will be about $20,000. And I'm going to have to hook it up to the town's infrastructure, water and electricity and sewage and all that stuff, which will cost about $20,000. So all in, I'll be about $150,000. But what if I just sell them at a cheaper price? So I can sell these houses at $299,000. Now, what's important about that? Right now in Whitby, where I live, a 1,400 square foot bungalow with the characteristics that I told you is selling for $600,000. So I can sell these houses 50% cheaper and still make money, but provide incredible opportunities for young families. So then we started thinking about, as we were kind of talking through this before I decided to make this trip, like, how can we do this in a way that we're not going to completely screw up the housing market? I certainly don't want to do anything to piss off all the people in Whitby that are trying to sell 1,400 square foot bungalows right now, which sell for about $600,000. So we decided that we're going to do this as a co-op community, which means if somebody wants to buy one of these houses, they'll be buying the house, but they'll be leasing the land for 5 years. And at the end of the 5 years, if they were model citizens, if they cut their grass, if they kept their houses in good upkeep, then they'll own the land. Think about what that could do if that catches on, and we can build hundreds of houses at cheaper cost, still make money, but provide these houses to people. It won't affect the resale market because we're doing this co-op idea with leased land. But then if somebody succeeds and lives in it for 5 years and is a model citizen and they end up owning the land, they can then sell it for $600,000. So they benefit because they get into a cheaper house. They get a chance to get their feet under them. 5 years later, they can sell it and make all the profits for selling it at the retail price. So anyway, that's the master plan that's going in my mind, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to take you on this journey. We're just getting ready to take off now. We're in Vancouver. We're on an 787 to Seoul, and then from Seoul to Dalian. Dalian, China. I'm just super excited about our meetings on Tuesday. So right now it's Sunday afternoon in Vancouver. The flight to Seoul is 12 hours plus a 12-hour time change. So I'm going to end up landing on Monday afternoon. And then I get into Dalian, China at 6 o'clock on Monday night. And I'm going to meet the people at the modular home construction company on Tuesday morning. It's going to be a great trip. Go into the notes. Tell me what you think. Do you think my idea is crazy? Do you think it really could make a difference and provide affordable housing to people in Canada? Let me know. So we're here in Dalian, China at the modular home manufacturing company. Let me just walk back here a bit and show you this. This is pretty freaking amazing. This is one of the tiny home designs that we're looking at in Dalian, China. We'll walk inside. Obviously, you'd have a deck here. Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah, actually, it comes from here.
Okay.
Let's see that. This is part of this part here. Oh. So this is sofa. The sofa can be turned to a bath.
Yep.
This one actually is a refrigerator with a speaker.
This is a fridge?
Yeah.
Oh, for gosh sakes. Kitchen?
Kitchen.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
This one has some stove.
Yep.
And you can climb on.
A ladder to get up there. And this is just a shower in here?
There's
Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, I'm back in my hotel room now. I just had to come back live with you guys and finish this off and share the most exciting news of my life that I've ever done. Now, for those that are following the No Money Real Estate podcast, or you know me, you either love me or hate me. That's really what it comes down to. And what I mean by that is I have this deep desire in my heart to help as many people across Canada as I can. And obviously, I'm an incredibly active real estate investor and a developer. This housing crisis has been on my mind for so long. And as you guys just saw, I was introduced to Ray through some mutual acquaintances, and when I got to know Mr. Sun, he just blew my mind. Born in China, moved to Canada, fell in love with our country, renounced his Chinese citizenship and became a Canadian citizen. And then when he saw what was going on with the housing crisis, he moved back to China and started a company, started making prefab homes and modular homes that he's shipping all over the world. I needed to know about this. I flew all the way here to China. I'm in communist China right now. And there's a lot of people that won't even come into this country because they're so nervous about it. I love people so much that I just trusted everything and I came over here and spent a couple days with them and everything checked out. It was unbelievable. Now there's some video clips where you guys got to see inside the factory. I want to apologize. This is not my normal travel blog that I do where I've got the camera going all the time and I'm getting you all kinds of amazing footage. It's because I'm in mainland China. I'm a little bit nervous about just having the camera out and shooting video all the time. And I think some of you guys will understand that, but it doesn't matter. I wanted to do this with you. I want you to know about this. While we were together, I went through Ray's entire business and how it worked. And there's a couple things that came up that I was nervous about. They're heavy into modular homes. And what I mean by that is they do prefab where you put it in an order for a home, they build it in the shop and then they take it apart in panels and they ship it all to you and you just have to put it back together. Well, there's some challenges I had with that and some concerns that I had. The biggest one is the Ontario Building Code or the building codes across Canada and how it actually works and how the process works. Now, I've built many homes in my life. I've built homes for a lot of my clients. I think the thing that I was really struggling to understand was when you build a house, there's permit processes that you have to go through, and there's several layers of permits that you have to do. First of all, if you buy a piece of land and you have to tear down the old property, you have to get a permit to do that. Then you've got to get your building plans. You have to develop your building plans. You get your architect to stamp the building plans and drawings, which means here's how I'm going to do it. Here's how the electrical is going to work, the plumbing is going to work, the carpentry, the framing, everything. Then they approve it. Now, once they approve it, at several points in the process, the chief building officials inspectors come on site and make sure you're doing it right. I'll give you an example. The first major inspection you have to do is your foundation inspection. In order to build a house, it starts with the foundation. Most times in Canada, we build basements, obviously, because of where we live, it's cold. So you have to dig into the ground, you put your footings in, you pour your foundation, and as soon as you're done the foundation, you got to call the building inspector. You can't do anything else until the building inspector shows up and signs off on it. Inspects it and says you did it right, green mark, you can keep keep going. Once you get that done, the next step is framing. So this is when you frame the house. That means you put it together. So all the wood, all the walls, plywood, the roof, you can even put the shingles on the roof. But before you go any further than framing, you got to call the building inspector back and they do a framing inspection. They want to make sure you did everything right for the safety sake of it. So once that's done, then you get your plumbers in and you get your HVAC people in. So that's your heating and air conditioning, all the runs and all the rigid plumbing pipe has to come in. So you get all that set up in the house. Then guess what you got to do? You got to get an inspector back again to sign off on the plumbing. Then you get your electrical in and you got to call the ESA, and the ESA, the Electrical Safety Authority, comes and does an inspection of the rough-in, and then you can go. Next, after you get all that stuff in the walls, then it's installation time. So you can put your insulation in the property. But guess what you got to do as soon as your installation is done? You got it. You got to call that inspector back again. Once he signs off on that, then you can seal up the walls. That means you put your drywall in and you can put all your cabinets in, you put your flooring, you basically do your finishing, and then the inspector comes in one more time and they do an occupancy inspection. It means there's still things to do, but it's now far enough along that you can live in it, and then there's one more inspection after that. Well, here was the point. What I couldn't get my head wrapped around is in modular construction, they build walls and they put everything in the walls and they seal it up. They ship the wall like with the drywall, the exterior siding on the outside and the drywall on the inside. You see where I'm going with this? That won't work. I love the idea of trying to figure out a way to build houses cheaper than I couldn't figure out how that was going to work. And I talked and sat down with Ray about this for a little while, and he agreed with me. He said, well, modular homes, it's not going to work. But then as we were talking, we started talking about the price of materials and the cost of materials. And I pulled out the calculator and we started doing some math. I said, if I send you the plans that we want to do, how much of the material to build the house could you source? And you know what he said? All of it. And he said, the other thing we can do is we can frame the building for you. So we can do the framing, which is the lumber. He said, we can build all the walls. We can put the plywood on the outside, do your 2x6 framing, get it all done. And we can send it over to you with like Lego, connect the dots type of formula. And then we can send you all your plumbing supplies, all your electrical supplies, all your HVAC supplies, your furnace, your heater, your kitchen, the bathrooms, the flooring. We can send you the drywall, the mud to do the drywall. We can send you all of the materials. And we sat down and we looked at material costs, China versus Canada, and it blew my mind. Blew my mind how much cheaper it is in China. I'm going to get to this in a second, but here's what I want you to understand. Whenever I'm talking about China and how much acquisition and procurement for our businesses we do from China, every once in a while I get somebody who starts to criticize me and says, well, it's slave labor over there. Friends, it's not slave labor anymore. People in China who work in factories make really good wages. They make the same types of wages they make in Canada. Now, the difference being, it's just cheaper to work in China. It's cheaper to live in China. Houses, you can buy a 3-bedroom house for a family for $80,000 in China. It's unbelievable. So they don't make as much money as people do in Canada, but they're paid well. So here's what we found out. All of the materials to build the house are about 70 to 80% cheaper when I buy them from China. So we're going to do a partnership. We're going to help people build houses, and we're going to get all the materials from Ray, the designs. He's going to do some of the modular type of work he does, but we're going to do it in a way that we can still get our inspectors in, we can still apply for the permits, and it can roll properly. You know, the most amazing part about this, and this is my stunning announcement, we checked out a test on 6 different types of homes. We can build a home using this system 50 to 60% cheaper than what they're being sold for in Canada right now. I'll give you an example. We looked at a plan for a 3-bedroom bungalow with 2.5 baths. So there's a bathroom en suite, and then there's a full bathroom in the common area, and there's a powder room by the door. It's 3 big bedrooms, family room, and a living room, and a den, which is an office, and a kitchen and a dining area. And it's a 1-car garage. In Whitby, where I live, on a standard size residential lot, that house I just described to you is selling for about $700,000. All in, I can help somebody to build it themselves for $350,000. And I'm still going to make a bit of money in that equation. You guys think about what this does for Canada, what this does for people. 350 grand for a beautiful house. That's the affordable housing everybody was talking about. Now, there was a couple things that came up in the conversations, and the real estate agents and real estate professionals that are watching this podcast on YouTube or listening to it, what you're thinking right now is, well, if Ken starts selling houses for 350 grand that are normally worth 700 grand, how does he not screw up the entire housing market? And I don't want to do this so that I help a lot of people, but I piss off a lot of people too. I don't want to do it. We want to make sure this is a win-win. So I had to figure out, how can I do this in a way that it doesn't devalue all the houses in the market? And that's where we came up with the concept we're going to do. It's called co-op housing, but not like you think. So we're going to literally start with a subdivision that we're going to do in my town. We're going to do this in in partnership with the town of Whitby. Still got to figure out the details of it. We're basically going to take 50 acres of land and build 100 houses. We're going to sell them for what I just told you. So a house that would normally cost $700,000 in Whitby is going to cost $350,000. I know it sounds freaking crazy, right? But in order to not screw up the housing market, we're going to make these co-op houses, which means that if somebody buys the house, they own the house outright, but they're going to lease the land for the first 5 years. That makes the difference. So the house that somebody is selling free and clear is worth $700,000. This is worth $350,000 because those people don't own the land for 5 years. They got to earn the rights to own the land. So that means they're going to move into their house. They're going to cut the grass. They're going to be good neighbors. They're not going to be hooligans. And if they pass after 5 years, they're going to be given the land. Now, the minute they're given the land and they own it 5 years later, that house is going to rocket up in value. They paid $350,000 for it. It's probably going to be worth $800,000. Think about how amazing this is. We're going to give people the chance to buy houses that they can afford with their young families. But if they take care of that house 5 years later, they're going to be blessed with unbelievable equity in their homes. So it's not just helping to solve the housing crisis. It's doing something that nobody else in my entire country, in Canada, has ever done. And we're starting right now. We're going to be launching a website and launching a new company within 60 days. And my question to you is, now that you understand this, you've seen the factory, you've seen everything's going on, you knew I was coming over here to do this, how many people have been dreaming of having a house for their family and they just couldn't figure out how to do it? Now you know how to do it. If you would like to take a closer look at buying one of these co-op houses with us, I want you to go into the notes, just say I'm interested, and I'll have my team reach out to you and we'll see where this takes us. Man, I really hope you guys enjoyed this podcast show, man. I hope you are as freaking excited as I am for what we can do for Canada with this discovery. It's so damn cool. We'll see you on the next episode of the No Money Real Estates podcast.